Come in. Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I do hear you. Hola.
Check out that new Nas. I
Man,
like
is
it.
this your first time listening to it?
What you say?
Is this your first time listening to it?
Today.
Oh, but the night I think I listened to it. I don't know. I listened to it for the first time one day last week. Man, I listened to it for like 3 days straight. That's all I could listen to.
Yeah.
I mean, I read that some people were like, "No, this was not a hit," and I was like, "What the fuck did you not like about it?"
You know what they didn't like about it
What?
is the mainstream media is not telling you it's a hit. You got to
Mhm.
hear a whole bunch of posts and blogs and all this. Got to be some type of controversy wrapped around it. That's the only way people hear music nowadays. And it's like you don't actually hear music. It's like okay, well it's
And unless you're tapped into music sources, or you follow certain types of, music pages or just entertainment, whatever, you really don't know who's got what out. But like for people like people that I would have expected, to have had good things to say about it, I was surprised didn't enjoy it. And I just I couldn't believe it. I listened to it again and I was like, I don't know how you could not. Everything Black. I mean, just the whole album is so amazing, in my
well,
opinion.
yeah, but that's where people don't people don't listen. It's so for so for instance, I said this to somebody last week. I guarantee you, whoever your favorite five artists are, if you go check them up on YouTube right now, I guarantee you three out of those five have a recent album that you've never even heard of.
Right.
And the reason you haven't heard of it is because it's not these big, huge album release part. They don't do things the way that they used to do them back in the day. They just release it, and a lot of these people are now independent versus these major media push labels. You know, you don't have these major labels giving you this worldwide push, and you're not gonna see them on billboards and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So now people don't. You're not paying attention, and that just shows that it shows how much of a slave you are to to it's different little things that show me when a person is brainwashed in ways that they don't even know it. So you
Mm-hmm.
got dope music out there. Your favorite artist or musician, they have music out right now. You haven't listened
You
to
don't
it
even
because the
know.
media didn't tell you to listen to it.
Right. So do you think that that's something that happens for all generations or like a younger generation versus older generation? Because I feel like I'm pretty on top of my music game when it comes to at least the artists that I like, right? But I'm an old school music head. Tapes, CDs, concerts, backpacks, like, in the streets, always, at a show. I'm a music person. So do you think that that's a younger generation not coming from that same
I
era?
don't think it's an old or a young thing. I think it's a free thinking thing versus a media push. Because there's young people too. Young people will find their own pockets of musicians and artists that they like to listen to that other people have never heard before.
That's
But it's
true.
certain type of people who go and dig and find this type of music.
Right.
But you get a lot of people, if you don't see a video and there's no controversy around it and it's not making major headlines, they only listen to music that's done by major record labels because
True.
the major record label is what gives it that nationwide, worldwide push to it and gives you that type of exposure.
Well, and of course they play what they want to play. They play, of course, what they want to have pushed. So, I could have understood if some people's maybe dislike was because Nas is not a bubblegum rapper, and maybe they, maybe they want it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand how people who are music heads, just of all the things that they could say about the entire album, content, yeah, just like, I don't know how people could be like, no, it was trash. Wow, okay, I don't know.
I
I
don't
thought
think
it was
those
great.
people are music heads.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I was hella impressed. I was excited. I'm finna listen to that shit when we get off.
But that's what I told people before. I said Scarface, people haven't even heard his last two albums. And both of them is off the chain. I love both of them. I listen to them all the time.
Yeah, Scarface has only put out a couple albums that I didn't care for, and there was a time frame where he had some consistent misses. But most of what Scarface touches is gonna beat. So,
What was a miss? Which album was a miss?
is it the Emeritus? Is that what it's called? Um, or something along that line. It has Big Dog status on it, and I just did not care for the whole album.
Oh, I think that was like a feature type of thing. I don't know. I'm not
Maybe,
sure about
I
that. I
don't.
have to check that
It
one.
was around that time, because I remember he had just put out an album, and I listened to the whole album, and I'm a Brad Jordan fan. I mean, I love me some Scarface,
Go
and I
back,
remember.
go listen to Deeply Rooted, and have. Did you listen to
Oh, I know
100?
Deeply Rooted. Oh, I'm familiar with Deeply Rooted. I'm very familiar with Deeply
What
Rooted.
about 100? You listen to 100?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
early. You got to go back. Tierra, what musically? What are you up on that ain't nobody else up on right now?
Um, I listen to a lot of jazz. Um,
I just got hip to Afro Mist.
oh,
Do you know who that is?
no, I do not. I listen to old jazz.
Jazz artist. Well, I thought maybe you might know. Okay.
Yeah, no, I listen to old jazz. I listen
Okay.
to
Coltrane and Davis.
Coltrane and all. Yeah, so that I listen to that. That's my relaxing music. That's like if I'm having a stressful day, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna listen to jazz, and so I go to jazz. I've been to several jazz festivals.
Ooh.
I've been to one in Denver in the mountains. I've been to Atlanta has a big one.
Mm-hmm.
For Memorial Day, I think it's Memorial Day is the first one. That comes the big holiday to come through.
Right.
But they have one, so I love to listen to jazz. I listen to all music though. I listen to it could rock, country. I just love music.
Right.
Ivory, what you up on that ain't nobody else up on? When you became a full-fledged Christian, you gave up R&B, depressing music. She was the R&B queen for for years. I'm like, stop listening, because it always had you moping all the time.
It did not have me moping. You misunderstood me. Like that's who I was, and I just found music that that portrayed on the outside what was going on the inside. But what was I going to say? I like a lot of different types of music. I mean, I don't really like hip hop a lot, but I like almost everything else. So I still listen to a lot of R&B.
You ain't told me nothing yet, though. Who are you listening to?
I like Kimbra.
Ain't heard of
She
Kimbra.
had an album that came out last year I really liked. I like Jasmine Sullivan. I listen to her music a lot.
Jasmine
I
Sullivan.
love John Legend. I can
Mm-hmm.
listen to hash-ups of different of his albums all day. Who else? that's I love Miguel, so I listen to different half steps of Miguel songs. So that's pretty much where I stay. R&B, a little bit of pop, a little bit of alternative.
Who y'all got for Monica and Brandy?
Monica.
Okay, so I have
Monica,
Brandy.
the hood champion. She the people's champ.
But
I'm with Brandy. Brandy is just more. I don't know. It's just
She started off bubblegumish. She
It
started
ain't
off
even
that
about
way.
that. Like her
Who was
voice
her
is a little
age?
more interesting
Yeah.
to me.
yeah, right.
Voice
She
is more
started like with
interesting, and her songs are more interesting to me. I'm a Brandy, more of a
Okay.
Brandy fan.
Well, I'm
Nothing against
saying,
Monica. I'm just more of a
Monica
Brandy.
started off, she was 15, but she was still making grown people music, though. I mean, I think people just felt her initially a little bit different. That's just my
Was she
opinion.
making grown people music? I don't.
Yeah.
just-
It had much. I think it
Just
had
one of
more of a
them
mature
days.
feel
Grown at
to
the
it to
time
me.
that they were making that kind of music, but
Just one of them days is that a girl goes through is. I mean, I feel like that's.
yes.
Double meaning. I mean, it took me 3 years to realize what she was talking about. Maybe about 10, maybe 5. I didn't know what she was talking about.
I'm with Ivory on. I feel like. I mean, I love Monica. Like, I love Monica. She got some bangers. Like, but I feel like Brandy just. I mean, Brandy. I don't know. It's gonna be a good show.
Okay, so okay. Before I go to everybody else, let's do a raise of hands. Monica versus Brandy. If you say Brandy wins, raise your hand.
I don't know.
I don't know either. They're really good.
I listen to more Brandy music, but I like Monica as a person better. I don't.
Okay, see, now I'm kind of with you, Kat. This is what I'm thinking. I know I like Monica better, but if
I think
if
Monica
we doing
was villainized.
if we doing 20 hits,
controversy.
What controversy?
Like the original The Boy Is Mine, like all of that, like
they
dramatic,
just wanted to like Brandy
but yeah,
more.
exactly. It was like.
But now let me say this: if you put 20 hits, if each got 20 on each side, I don't know if Monica got the same. I don't know if
Brandy.
You know.
Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop.
Tell us, Denise. You the qualified professional.
Y'all need to knock it off. Y'all gonna tell me that Brandy got a better song than Knock Knock and Goes On?
See, that's a whole
Angels of Mine.
If you want to talk song for,
Angel.
I believe Brandy's first album and Blue Moon would knock any Monica album out.
I agree.
Our album song.
I mean, you pick one off of there. They all rock. Now, when Monica made that actual album with Missy, it was a bop, but it was very urban. Like I felt like Brandy had more crossover appeal than Monica did.
I agree.
Well,
like that was urban.
Some Monica songs go hard.
Monica
on the urban radios. On the urban radios, but Brandy was on pop and urban.
I think Brandy was pushed more on pop and MTV and all that. I think Brandy was pushed more.
That's what I said. Monica was the hood champion.
Yeah.
She was the people's champ.
It's gonna be good. When I saw that those two were going toe to toe, I was like, oh, I want to see this one.
It only made sense for a while. They were talking about Monica and Ashanti and other. I'm like, that don't make sense. The only thing that you can do is now Ashanti has hits. Don't get it twisted. But I'm just saying it only made sense that Brandy and Monica.
The eras didn't match up.
I agree with that too. But anybody who think Ashanti is a pushover in a versus battle, no. Murder Inc. had
We just don't want to hear her sing.
Well, you ain't gotta hear her sing. No. I think Ashanti get a bad rap.
I like Ashanti. What Ashanti do to hurt me? I like Ashanti.
She gets a bad rap a lot of times.
Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Say that baby one more time.
Britney Spears, hit me, baby, one more.
Right.
I think Ashanti would be good, but just not against Monica. Like you got Monica as a singing actor.
You got a singer versus a singer, and Ashanti's not really known for singing. So who does Ashanti go up against then?
Ashanti.
They were saying Keisha Cole, but I was like,
Ooh,
again,
shit.
the eras don't match up.
I think
I
they'd be
feel like
close
eras
enough,
matter.
but I think she
I feel
beat
like
Keisha
eras
Cole.
matter.
What if she did J-Lo?
No.
No, that ain't the same.
It ain't the
That's
same.
apples and oranges.
look, they have videos at the same time.
I mean, she wrote for J-Lo.
Mm.
They had paired Mary J. Blige with Faith Evans. I didn't think that was a
Mary
good
J kills anybody in the R&B battle.
I was like, I
mean,
didn't think that was going to be a good matchup with Faith, even though Faith is
I like
can
Faith,
sing, but I
but
just didn't think that was a good matchup.
20 songs. If you going 20 songs deep, Mary kills
Yeah,
anybody.
Mary gonna win regardless.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of if we're thinking like watching them sing live, which I think they're gonna have a full band for Monica and Brandy. And if we're thinking about in terms of watching them sing live, I wouldn't mind seeing Faith and Mary.
That'd be a good show.
Only
Absolutely.
person who would have a chance against Mary J. Blige is R. Kelly, and don't nobody want to see that.
Oh,
No.
Nobody
Dylan,
wants to see
We
that.
don't.
I'm just
You're right,
saying.
We don't. We
Hit
don't.
for hit. See, y'all don't want to talk strictly music though. Hit for hit.
Next.
Don't nobody want to talk about that.
We not there yet. We
Nope.
ain't gonna ever be there.
No. Look, we listened to it when it was hot. It can't get no more play. It got all the play it could have possibly got. That's it.
I think we had that conversation before. Anybody who still listen to R. Kelly, you gonna say you still listen to him? Everybody done with him.
His music or his press interview?
Just the music.
No.
I never got into him.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different if you never got into him. Okay, let's say.
My hair's not breaking.
Okay,
Every quoted him at work today, if that counts.
let's
but
go back. Let's. I want to explore this a little bit. Anybody still enjoy watching Kevin Spacey movies?
I cannot watch the cars. I be wanting to watch so bad. I can't do it. Done.
It's extremely
And I love-
reluctantly. Oh, I don't think
If
I
the
have seen one
Negotiator
since-
came on tomorrow, I would watch it.
Nah, I can't do it.
I like
Because
Years.
American.
Probably
Why
the first
everybody
time
gotta be
mine at
funny?
7.
I'm still gonna watch Cosby's if it come on late night and I want to watch it.
I ain't watching none of that.
Nobody else watches the Cosby Show?
I never
I
like
think it don't come on no more.
No, it still come on. It comes
It
on
does.
and
I
on, like they
watch
pick and
Cosby.
choose.
He's
Yeah.
not the only person on there. Like, it's an ensemble cast. I don't think everybody should be punished because of just him. Like, there's a whole bunch of people acting on that show, and yeah, I still watch it.
So, how deep does this go? Let me keep going. Does anybody still watch A Different World? He produced that show.
I haven't seen that in years. Oh my gosh.
I mean, like it's just not on enough for me to catch it. But would I turn the channel if it came on, or I'm gonna watch it.
Depends on the
Okay.
episode, I guess. No, I'm just kidding.
And I guess the main thing I'm asking is where is the line? Where and how do we draw the line when it comes to a person's moral character versus their art?
So like a Tory Lane.
Oof, that's
Okay, Tory. I don't listen to him, but yeah, that's a good example. Yeah, you segue us perfectly. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say because he was on my a lot of songs were on my gym playlist type deal, and yeah, he's not on my gym playlist.
That's it.
But why not? Why is he not on the playlist anymore? But Cosby can still be watched.
Because that's one individual where I can appreciate a cast and not just throw away a cast because of one individual. Tory is one individual. And so I can directly boycott him. But I'm not going to boycott Rudy and Theo and everybody else because of Cosby. I don't think that's fair.
Okay, I have a question. So are you boycotting because you're like, it's a monetary boycott, or what is it?
It's just I don't want to. I definitely don't want to support him directly. What I feel like what I'm doing with Cosby's, I'm supporting the cast as a whole, and I don't think they should be punished for one person's decision. But Tory, I can directly impact him.
Interesting.
And my thing is because, like I said, people there's going to be people suffering if you pull off Cosby's. I don't think the rest of the cast should suffer for that. You know, so Tory, you know, and then Cosby itself. There's a lot of stuff going on there.
Okay, let's. I want to dig into this. I like these moral conversations to how do we decide where the line is. And I'm gonna put myself out there. I make myself the bad guy for this. And feel free to speak freely. Okay, not a problem. I like the conversation.
Because
so then my question becomes, huh?
Because we don't speak freely.
So then my question becomes, and I think, oh, this is gonna go back to it. It reminded me of a conversation we had a long time ago. If so, everyone has their own moral lines, but if a person's moral line is not the same as yours, for instance, say, nope, I'm done with Cosby. I ain't listening. I can't watch him anymore. Is it wrong for a person that does continue to watch that? Are they wrong? Is there something wrong with their character? And let me aim it directly towards me in the sharpest way possible. I still listen to R. Kelly. I still listen to his music. I enjoy it, quite a bit of it. The music that I enjoyed when I was in high school and growing up, certain music, I still listen to it. Does that, whether you listen to it or not, the fact that I listen to it, am I wrong for continuing to listen to that music?
No. Because I still have to believe that you can somewhat take the art away, separate the art from the person if you like the art. But
agreed. To a certain extent.
To a certain extent, but I do if I don't care to support that person, I choose to, but I don't fault you for loving the art.
I'm about to go somewhere with this. Keep going. Who else?
I think again, you keep asking, you and sometimes Smack keep asking for these hard lines on these subjects, and you said it in the last time we all were on the phone with Smack, like there's the line exists, but it's a fuzzy, like a perspective. Like as long as you're not hurting yourself or others, I think is the two biggest moral codes maybe out there, but you keep asking for a hard line on certain things, and I don't know that there necessarily is a hard line.
I'm gonna go reverse. Yeah, something wrong.
Okay. Okay, keep going.
Well, in a sense, I don't mean it as bad as I said it, but I will say it in this sense, and maybe this is not your circumstance or situation, and maybe it's not the reason you do it. But a lot of times I hear people say things like that because it's not the party offended or the party that's most offended is not them. So I've heard a lot of men say that, but I'm like, it wasn't an offense against me, right? Mm-hmm. So I ask the same question: is
it could be in the same way though?
If one of your favorite white artists, you find out they were a raging racist, would you feel the same way? And maybe you would, and then I won't question your character. But a lot of people would not feel the same way if they found out their favorite white artist was a raging racist, and they wouldn't feel the same way about their music.
I would, to some degree.
When it's offenses against women, then it's, the music and the art. Now, like I'm saying, if you would still feel the same way, cool. But a lot of people would not feel the same way they say they would feel if it was something that more directly impacted them.
Well, I'm saying I still think all of it, unless anybody on this live has had a direct situation with R. Kelly. It's all from a distance. And just like you are a woman, you're a woman who has this situation, so you can kind of empathize with what other women go through. It's still a perspective from a distance, because I have a daughter, I have a sister, I have a mother, so I can still empathize with that from a distance. Maybe not the same way that you do, but I can still do it to some degree.
But
jump in, Nikki.
To Ivory's point, that's like saying I can't be racist because I have a black friend.
Right.
It's sympathy versus empathy.
Well, yeah, I get it. So the other is, go ahead.
So my thought, and ironically, I was thinking about this R. Kelly situation a couple days ago, maybe even yesterday in the shower, and I don't know why, because this conversation hasn't come up or anything. But I remember, I have every single R. Kelly CD, the doubles, the tapes. I have the public announcement. Like, I'm a junkie for, like I have all the shit. He done got all my money. when he was sexually attracted to 7th and 8th grade girls. Right. So when I think about the sex I've had to R. Kelly, knowing that he's having sex, thinking about a 14-year-old, 7th grader, 8th grader, and 9th grader, wait till your little girl gets a little bigger. And I'm not saying that that's you can or can't feel that way with or without children, but there is something there's something wrong with that. So and not as a mother or a mom or a woman, but I do find it very questionable.
So let me ask: is it? And I want to get to you, Denise. Is it the nature of his defense more? I mean, the nature of his offense more so than he's just a bad person? Because what I'm saying is, like what Nikki pointed out, you got caught up in these terrible sexual acts, and you make sexual music. So since you make the same type of music that your offense was associated with the same type of music it makes, does that make it worse for you versus if he killed somebody? I don't know. Like, I think if he killed somebody, then we still listen to the music because one thing is not associated with the other.
He wasn't raping children. So I'd be totally fine with a murderer, I guess. I mean, I'd be fine with a lot of shit, but I'm not okay.
I know what you mean, though, yeah.
I'm not okay with somebody who violates women, children, men, who sexually assaults women, children, men, who rapes women, children, men. There's just no way that you can get a fucking stream off of me ever again if you hurt, injure, rape, murder women, children, and men. I don't give a fuck what the art is. That's not art. That's how you got into the situations that you got into to take advantage of the people that you took advantage of. So I love R. Kelly's music, but R. Kelly is a fucking pig. So he can't have no more streams, no more money. He's done. And so I think I have a harder time with women who still listen to R. Kelly and justify it than men who listen to R. Kelly. But the argument usually for men that listen to R. Kelly is almost always the same. Oh, it's the music, it's the music, it's the music.
It has to be something about it that it just doesn't affect us the same way because maybe it doesn't hit home the same way. There's a little bit of
cognitive dissonance there, some goddamn way.
There got to be something. Now, I'm going to jump to a slightly different aspect of it. Yes, I want you to jump in first, Denise, before I go anywhere. Yes, go ahead.
For me, it's like, yes, he makes sexual music, but for me, it's like deeper because it's like, the energy behind the music that he's making is the energy of a person who is a molester, who's a predator. That's the energy that's going into the music. So when you're hearing it, it's like, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want that type of energy around me in any shape, form, or fashion. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. And I damn sure don't want to have nothing to do with that while I'm participating in my sexual act.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, and even if his music wasn't about sex, I just don't want to contribute to his pockets in any way, his success in any way, his lawyer fees in any way. I don't want to contribute to any of that at all. Dead game, nothing. You get nothing from me.
Oh, I can go down rabbit hole with this.
I agree.
I can go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I got a rabbit hole for this too.
Well, Tia, let me hear a little bit about your rabbit hole in a second. Go ahead, Denise. Keep going.
Like it's not just R. Kelly. Like if I watch a movie, I wanted to watch a movie so bad that shit was a Miramax movie. I said I can't do it. I was like, fuck, I can't watch it. Like I have to uphold these standards because the more people don't uphold the standards, the more it opens the door for people to do things like that and get away with it and still have a living. If there's people saying no, we do not support this, you cannot do this type of shit, period, then people might not do it as much, or they would get cut off in some type of way. But in a lot of ways, people are continuing to be supported monetarily. So it's like, do whatever, you know? And I said
it's okay. It gives them a fucking pass.
Right. And I get like to Tierra's point though, I understand that because I think about that shit all the time. I think about the fact that a lot of people get paid off the residuals from the Cosby Show that had nothing to do with the Cosby thing. So I understand that. I do understand that. but I just still can't support it. But to answer the overall question, do I think a person is wrong because we don't have the same morals? No, because I could say people are wrong for watching Cosby, but then if I listen to what Tierra said, I'm like, I understand that. So it's like, I guess it just really depends on where people are coming from and how people decide
Level,
to
you know,
with
it's level.
certain things. Yeah.
My rabbit hole, real quick.
Yeah.
R. Kelly wrote for several artists. Are you going to then disown the artist that he is a part of?
The songs he wrote, yes.
Like Aaliyah.
The songs that he wrote, I don't listen to. Like, I love Aaliyah. I'm Aaliyah fan. I was literally listening to her yesterday, and the songs that he wrote they were about to come on. I cut them off. I can't do it. I cannot support you in any way. And I love Aaliyah.
Well, especially when you know that he abused her.
Right.
How can you ever listen to Seems Like You're Ready? Like, how do you ever listen to Seems Like You're Ready and ever be like, yeah, no. Seems like you're ready because you just started your period. That's why you're ready. You can't get my money. No.
I had a different point on this.
Go ahead.
Okay. Rabbit hole number 2. We just digging all kind of holes. Let's go.
This is me. This is a beat up on myself. And I don't know if any of y'all, if this is the same. So I definitely kept listening to that man after he slept with a 13-year-old, you know? Like, I did come to the conclusion that this was like disgusting enough to cancel him a long time later. I had to go back and ask myself, what was wrong with me? He slept with a 13-year-old. It was on tape and he got off. And we all just kind of said, okay. And then it wasn't until documentaries and a whole bunch of other crap. No, I'm not saying anybody but me. It wasn't until documentaries and crap and everything else came out. I'm like, oh, he's a disgusting person. I shouldn't listen to him anymore. But I'm like, hey, Ivory, you kind of knew he slept with a 13-year-old. What was that, like 15 years ago? And so
we knew about Aaliyah back in the 90s
right now. He married a 15-year-old.
Knew about Aaliyah. Knew about the tape. A lot of us kept listening even after the tape. And so, you know, I had to really question myself that why it took so much, like overabundance of information when I knew he slept with a 13-year-old years ago.
Well, so anyway, because you were fed a bunch of positive energy from the media about him. Like, he's a celebrity, you're supposed to trust. And I was saying it's not wrong with you. I think it's what we were being fed at the time. Like, it was just brushed off.
But that's why I disagree, Kat. It is something wrong with you. It's something wrong with all of us when it takes the media to tell us that something is wrong before we view it as wrong.
Well,
and that's where
I was also super young at the time. Sorry.
Right.
I was also like super young at the time. So
but that's the thing, though. A lot of us that were around back in the Aaliyah R.
I know now it was bad.
Of course,
no, most of us are guilty.
Of course, we questioned it when it was happening. You know, when it was the Aaliyah R. Kelly era. But also, this has been normalized for so fucking long. This is why we didn't have a problem with it, because it's been normalized to just
yeah.
And then what did everybody do? Blame the parents.
No, but that's not the same, Nikki. That's still not the same, though.
It is. If you normalize it, if society says this is okay because there's levels to this, then
but the problem is still you in these situations, because nobody's making you. Now, granted, if you had to listen to I Believe I Could Fly at your graduation, you ain't got much of your choice over that. But what you listen to in the privacy of your own home, what you chose to buy CDs, because it wasn't even available back then. We chose to do these things. So it's not the same as you having a Confederate racist name on the front of a school and you have to go to that school. Those are certain things that you are limited in your choices. When it came to music, we had a choice on what we wanted to listen to, and we chose to listen to it.
Can I say this? I think now it's like we know. Like, there are people who are coming out with accounts saying this really happened, not a rumor that we heard back in 1994 with the 7 years old.
Rumor.
No, but
we had the video. We had the video.
I didn't.
But a lot of people didn't see that
I
video.
saw
Yeah, a lot of people didn't.
A lot of people in my neighborhood seen the video. Okay, I give
never
you that
seen
though.
that video. So as far as I'm concerned, it was all speculation. But furthermore, I wouldn't want to watch it anyway because it's underage kid. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, regardless if it's a person, that's the underage child.
Child pornography.
Right.
Child pornography.
Exactly. So it's like at the end of the day, it was not confirmed, like really confirmed until this happened. So we could say, well, we heard rumors, but we didn't really know. There's a lot
we knew about Aaliyah.
Stuff that you hear, huh?
You knew he
we
married
knew
a
about
15-year-old.
I never knew that was confirmed. Aaliyah never said it. Nobody from her camp ever said this is what happened.
No, they got married.
Yeah, but that, from my understanding, those were just rumors. We didn't know. Who
they wrote the news cycle did go heavy on them, like the ET of them days. They did go heavy on them, and it was all over it was magazines back then, like the Beat magazines and stuff. They went heavy on them.
It wasn't no secret.
It was definitely not no secret.
Okay,
I was gonna say too.
I was probably like that.
I just don't remember
what was wrong with the old people, like the people my age.
That's you saying right now, like at that time.
Okay, so I'm saying at the time that these things were coming out, I was
those
8,
were the ones,
you know,
right?
I was 18, and really in my mind, I was not so far removed from the ages of those girls, and I felt grown, right? So something about that does kind of mess with your head, where you're like, yeah, but
that's what I said.
I've been feeling grown a couple years, so maybe it's not that bad. But now it's like 30 something. You like it's nowhere close to grown, like an all out kid. And so I'm wondering what's wrong with the 40-year-olds at the time. I know what was wrong with me.
Because even looking at it at the time, the girl didn't look like a little child. I was still a little, you know, I was barely out of high school. So it looked like a freshman that I seen, and, you know, a freshman that I seen. And I didn't know it.
But when you see this video of her during the documentary, she looked like a kid.
At the time that I initially watched it, she didn't look too much different from me. Now, when I got in my 30s and I look back at it, I was like, oh my God, that's a little girl. But it's one of those things, like Ivory said, that's something that I didn't see at the time because I didn't notice. You know, when you're closer to that age, you don't notice it the same way. And then combine that with the fact of half of the girls that I'm trying to date, I can't date them because they're dating men that's older and out of high school.
And it was, thank you. I was going to say that, Quentin, that was all up and through the high school with girls with young, older men. All through up in high. It was common. It was commonality.
So if you go back and look at the magazines that were popular during that time, you had People and you had Teen People and like these magazines, but People was aimed at girls 16 to 20 and Teen People was aimed at girls 11 to 13. And then you had all the teen bop magazines and all these things, but it was showing you a path of what you should aspire to as a woman. And it was all completely sexualized. And she looked at the time, I was like 17 at the time, and I thought I was fucking grown because they told me I was.
Well, I just want to also say,
I don't think it was okay.
This is not a phenomenon. This has only become a phenomenon in Me Too culture because there's great grandmas and stuff like that. We're getting married at 14 and 15 years old.
Oh, yeah.
So the culture has changed. It's not wrong that the culture has changed. That's good. The culture has changed.
Right.
But this was acceptable for older men to prey on younger women for a very long time. Elvis.
Escuchame una cosa, pedazo de hijo de remil puta y la recalcada concha de tu renegrida puta madre, hijo de una cañonada de poronga política, torete de hondo, aborto de la naturaleza, ¿por qué no atendés ese teléfono de mierda? Puta madre que te recontra remil parió, metés el teléfono en el medio del orto y un palo de consolador, putazo de mierda, adicto a la poronga, ¿por qué no venís y me fumás esta? La concha de tu puta madre no servís para espiar, cabeza de chota afligida, capricho de la malformación humana, y la concha bien puta de tu hermana, la trola pecera por
What is that?
Por un paquete de pochoclo, prostituta barata, no tirar la leche, malcriado de mierda, hacerte coger por un zoológico y pedirle ayuda a Tarzán. forro, violador de Chihuahua, nabos, pijas, chorongos, penes, vergas duras, y dudas Holanda, cualquiera te viene bien, pinta relajada, recipiente de semen, ¿sabes qué? La moronga por nuevo de huevo, la reputísima madre de la
Desde que yo ando con mi